Good evening, good afternoon for some, whatever. It's 4:49 here in San Antonio, and I wanted to come on here really quickly to discuss something that I think is important for all business owners, whether you have a network marketing business or anything like that. But you know me, I am a network marketing coach, travel business trainer, teacher, and someone who just believes in building real income with real structure because you can't have a solid house if your foundation sucks. And I had this conversation with one of my business partners earlier today, but it's just something I wish more people hear before they actually join any kind of home based business. Let's talk about your expectations, right? What people most think versus what's actually reality. A lot of times people get excited. They see all these people on social media sharing the lifestyle, the freedom, all of the income claims, which may not even be real. And they're like, great, I want to be like them. Sign me up and I'm about to get paid next Friday. But what they don't really realize is that that's not how it is. This is a business. You are the CEO and you're in charge of your consistency, your growth, and your own income. But guys, if you treat this like a scratch off ticket and you're going to end up frustrated, this is more like building a franchise, not playing the lotto. And what I tend to see a lot of times is people want to sign up with people who are living like this extravagant lifestyle, but they don't realize how much work and how much time it took for them to get to that point. And then I ain't gonna lie, you do have some people out here recruiting falsely with false dreams and setting people up by saying, "Oh, I made this month, this week, and I da 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 da," but they don't talk about all the work that they did. And I did a lot about that a little while ago as well. But there's work that's involved in what you do. And guys, you got to understand, you cannot skip the learning curve and expect elite results. What I see a lot in the travel business side is people want to sign up when they have a trip to book, and then they get because they can't get access to the different suppliers and the different things that they need quickly because they got a trip booking. Or they join and start telling everybody that they're a great travel agent, they could do all of this and making promises that they can't cash. You know what I mean? They write checks they can't cash because they didn't take the time to do any kind of training, right? Guys, you understand, there's not only personal development involved. There's also professional development. You have to learn the sales and the marketing. It's a relationship building situation. You know, when you join any network marketing company, it's about building relationships and creating solid ones. You can't come in here with your own accountability, your own expectations and not understand what's going on. Now, there is accountability. I got to tell you, if you're not coachable and you want to do it your way, or if you go to your mentor, your coach, your leader, you're going to take the local route. I'm not saying that you won't have success, but the time frame that you're going to have that success is going to be really slow. And you know what? Some people are okay with slow and scenic, but most of y'all say y'all want six figures. You just don't want six-figure habits. That's the problem right there. Look, I want you to understand coaching versus control. Some people want to do the express lane, right? And that's great. That's what we want you to be. But we're not here to control you. We're not your boss, but we are here to guide you through the express track. Now, we've seen the potholes. We know the things you need to miss, but some of you don't listen to the leadership. You don't listen. And what happens is you feel that you have to go through all the bumps and the roads and everything in order to say that you made it. Now, if you're driving a car and someone is telling you don't get into the right lane because the right lane has a bunch of potholes and you'll mess up your car, why would you drive in the right lane? Why would you not get into the left lane knowing that you'll have smoother sailing? Now, when we say you need to post consistently, you need to show up for different events, you need to get on the calls, you need to schedule your content, you need to go live. It's not because we love hearing your own voice. It's because we know these are the steps that get results. Some of you guys will give me, and some of your leaders and mentors, you'll give us reasons why, excuses. And you all know how I feel about excuses. They are the tools of those who, excuses are the tools of the incompetent, and those who use them build mountains of nothingness. You got to stop giving excuses for why you're not doing what your coach, your mentor, your trainer, your teacher is telling you is going to get you success, and they have evidence of that success. Now, guys, let me ask you something. Would you start a new job and refuse to go to orientation? No. So why do you skip it in your own business? Now, look, in my personal experience, I've been in this industry over 20 something years in travel. I've helped people book six figures in travel, and I've trained people from all walks of life. You know what I mean? And the ones who win, I want you to understand, they stay plugged in, they ask for help, they implement what they're taught. They just don't write it down in their books and be cheerleaders and excited and toss the book somewhere. And they don't quit when it gets hard. I'm very honest with you. This business has not always been easy for me. I've had my own struggles. I've had my own coachability issues. I've had things I've had to deal with because of life, because of physical limitations, and so much more. But I understood that there's no fast money if you're not putting in focused effort. So no matter what was going on in my life, I made sure that my leadership understood where I was, where my head is. I had called my leadership and said, look, I ain't there right now. Give me about 2 weeks. I ain't there right now. I can't focus on this. Like when I was buying my house, yeah, I straight up could not do much of anything because that was a roller coaster right there. You know what I mean? So things are gonna happen, but it's always about communication and following through with what your leadership is telling you to do. Some of you guys question too much, and you don't question to understand. You question just to challenge and just to be like, versus like, okay, let me get clarity. There's questions to clarify so you know what your next steps are. And then some people question just the question, right? Now, here's some of the questions that I got yourself, right? Because if you're watching this and you're a home based business, I want you to check yourself. Are you treating it like a hobby or a business? Now, understand, there's nothing wrong if you treat your business like a hobby, but don't expect a hobby to get you 6 figures. Your hobby may barely get you 1 figure, 3 figures, if you treat it like a hobby. Are you doing what your leadership, your coach, your mentor, whatever you call them, is guiding you to do? Some of you say yes, but then when you try to follow, when they follow up with you and you're like, well, have you done this? You're like, no, you got to understand. Us leadership will drop you if you're not doing what we're asking you to do, especially if you came to us asking for this help, asking for the mentorship, asking for us to pull you. Because we're not going to pull a rock. Understand? I'm not. Now, are you managing your mindset or just chasing motivation? That is something I think, and that could be a whole nother live right there. That is something I think a lot of people are doing. They're chasing the motivation, but they're not changing their mindset. They're out here thinking, that network marketing is this, this, and this, and this, but because they're motivated for one thing, but their mind is not set for that motivation. Like I could be motivated to work out, but if my mind is not ready to go to the gym, it don't matter how motivated I am, my mind's always gonna stop me. And I'm gonna tell you right now, if you want the express lane, plug in. Be coachable. Build with intention. Don't just do this business or whatever business you're in to try to mimic somebody else. You got to create your own intention. Why do you want to be in this business? Why do you want to be successful? When you hit that first milestone, what's going to change in your life? Be coachable. But I want you to understand when we say be coachable, this means that you have to be open and willing to listen to what your leadership, mentorship is telling you to do. It is not always going to be comfortable. And I can tell you now, me and my leadership, I tell it straight. I'm like, look, I don't want to do it, but I understand why I need to do it. And I sometimes tell them, like, look, I need to be stretched because I'm getting too comfortable. You know what I mean? You got to plug in. Now, I will tell you this. No matter what business you're in, you can't plug into 100% of the things because you have life, you have work, you have other responsibilities, but that doesn't mean you can't still plug in. Now, when I'm saying this is like, I've had people tell me that they can't attend the meeting because their kid is at a soccer game or they're going to karate. And I'm like, so while they're playing and while they're chopping people, you can't listen to the call on your phone? You can't sit in your car? Like, don't make excuses. Make it be real. You know what I mean? Now, look, that's it. It was just a little tough love wrapped in a little bit of truth, just a little bit. But, look, if you got any value from this, please comment below and let me know. Share with your team. And if you're looking to get my mentorship inside of my business, let me know and we can go ahead and get you started on our team. And trust, we're going to have a whole lot of fun. We're going to travel. We're going to make money. And definitely, guys, we're going to eat. And if that is you, I want you to drop express down below and I will get to you when I see it. Or if you have my DM me directly. And then look, let's just build the legacy the right way. And as you know, I'm Miss Tisha Spencer.